Hello, I'm Rick, and this is my wife, Rebecca Porterfield, and welcome to another Marriage Minute. You know, I'm sitting here practicing getting a grip, a better grip right here. Practice makes perfect.
Well, that's right.
You practice something, it makes you better at it. And actually today we want to talk about getting a grip, or really self-control is what we want to talk about.
Right.
You know, self-control is a good thing. And it's amazing. Now think about this. We typically love our spouse more than anyone else. I love Rebecca more than anybody else. But because of that, we might expect more from them as well. And there have probably been times, if I'm honest, when I've held Rebecca to a standard that I may not really want to hold myself to.
I think
I have expectation, you know?
Yeah, I think we can all kind of identify with that. And, you know, I love Rick more than I love anybody else. But, man, I can get madder at Rick than I can get at anybody. And it's kind of crazy to think that way, but it's true. And, you know, if you get mad, and you can lose control. Okay, maintaining self-control is one thing, but you can lose control. And so if you do lose control, a lot of times we do things, we say things that we should not say, we may throw things, we may scream.
Throw things you shouldn't throw.
Yeah, you shouldn't throw things. And so anyway, and so, you know, and we do that all in the name of I'm just mad. And so you lose control.
Right, and sometimes people will use their personalities to justify their lack of self-control.
Yeah.
They might say things like, well, you know, why are you always so rude?
Well, I'm not rude. I just say what I think. Well,
Right.
what about you? Why don't you just hang that picture?
What's the rush? We've only been in this house 2 years now. What's the rush? How about this one? Why are you always so late?
I'm not always late. I can't help it if I can't find my keys. I'm just not organized. That's just not who I am.
Right. Yeah, people do tend to justify their behavior using their personalities.
Right.
You know, it's my
Yeah.
personality. It's just how it is, right?
Yeah. And so we all have personalities, and our personality does give us certain tendencies, but it's not an excuse for bad behavior.
Right, and sometimes people use other things to justify their personality. For example, maybe somebody might say, you know, well, yeah, I have a bad temper, but you know, it's because my mom had a bad temper, my grandmother had a bad temper. It just runs in our family. That's just how it is. I can't help it.
Yeah. Well, what about this one? The devil made me do it, and that's why I did it. But you know, really, the devil does not have any control over you that you don't give him.
That's right.
And so, you know, he can tempt us, he can bring thoughts to us, but he doesn't have control over you.
Right.
Only we have control over ourselves.
Right, so with no excuses, we come to this question, can we control ourselves? And like Rebecca just said, yes, you can.
Yeah.
You can control yourself. It's amazing how much self-control we can exercise given the right circumstances. Now, I'm going to give you a drastic example. Think of a man who has like a temper problem and they beat their spouse because of it. Now, that's horrible.
Horrible.
But given the right circumstances, this person who can't control their temper suddenly can. Suppose a policeman is put into that situation with them. He can get just livid with anger. But suddenly he can miraculously control what he does with that anger.
Yeah.
He can control himself.
What about this one? Maybe it's a little closer to home. You know, let's say Rick and I are, you know, in a heated discussion. We'll just call it
Not an argument, heated discussion.
And you know, things are just getting going from here to here to here. You know, and our voices are getting louder and
Not
stuff.
that this ever happens.
Yeah, right. And so anyway, and so then we see, oh my goodness, somebody's pulling up in the driveway. Who is that? And then it was like, oh, it's our pastor. And so suddenly, by the time the doorbell rings, we are just like, hey, praise the Lord, what a great day.
Thanks for dropping by.
Yeah, so glad to see you. And you know, it's amazing. Somebody in your life, and it may not be your pastor or whatever, but somebody in your life could make you get a grip on self-control. And it's amazing what happens to you. It's like transformation.
Right, people can control themselves. I can control myself, you can control yourself. It's just a matter if we want to or not. You know, Galatians 5:23 lists self-control as a fruit of the Spirit.
Right.
And there are other scriptures that talk about the same thing.
Right. 2 Timothy 1:7 in the modern English version, it says, God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and love and self-control.
Right, so you've already been given a spirit of self-control. You have the ability to control yourself. We just need to exercise it and practice self-control.
Yeah.
And as we do that, we'll get better at it, and you'll be able to control yourself, and you won't lose your temper, you won't lose control with your spouse.
Right.
And that alone will go a long way toward having a better marriage. So get a grip.
Get a grip this week and practice self-control.
Thank you for watching, and
See you next
see you
time.
next time.